Planes in Civ 7 are a modern era unit that will give you a big advantage, especially against opponents that aren't using planes, including the AI. Let's talk about it. First, you've got to unlock the tech needed to start building planes. This is flight in the tech tree, which requires that you unlock urbanization and combustion as well. Once you have flight unlocked, you'll be able to build the aerodome in one of your cities to start building planes. The aerodome is a single building that takes up both building slots in the hex, but it gives you some production in addition to the ability to build and store aircraft. Upgrades to planes later can be opened by researching aerodynamics further down the tech tree. Unlocking planes gives you 3 flavors of aircraft. The biplane is superior at fighting other aircraft and is most useful for defense. The trench fighter is good for attacking land and navy units. The bomber is best at attacking fortifications. Bombers and heavy bombers can also attack tiles and buildings. With aerodynamics, the biplane upgrades to a fighter, the trench fighter upgrades to a dive bomber, the bomber upgrades to a heavy bomber. Planes must be housed in either an aerodome, airfield, or on an aircraft carrier. They can be moved to different locations, but they always have to be based on one of these 3 things. To select an aircraft, you must first select the aerodome, airbase, or carrier where the plane is based, and this brings up the commander for that spot with all of the planes that are currently based there. You can then select an individual plane and see the command to rebase that plane or give it individual commands to attack. You must unlock mobilization first before you can build the aircraft carriers. Once those are built, an aircraft carrier can house 4 planes and move them around to engage from the sea. Next up, let's talk about the stats. They're not very intuitive, so I'm going to talk about each one of these in a little bit of detail. Range is the first number that you see. This is the number of hexes from its base that a plane can attack or move. A range of 12 means the plane can bomb units or fortifications up to 12 hexes away from where the plane is stationed. Melee strength is the strength of the plane against other planes. You'll see the biplane and the upgraded fighter have the highest values here. So very useful for defending against other planes. Ranged strength is the strength of the plane against ground and navy units. The trench fighter and dive bomber are the strongest here. Bombard strength is the strength of the plane against fortifications and cities. So in this case, the bomber and the heavy bomber have the highest values. Planes can be given attack commands individually or through the commander, just like ground units. When you attack with the commander buttons, it's only going to use the planes where that is their best attack. So if you pick attack a ground target, it's only going to use the trench fighters or the dive bombers to do that. It's not going to use your heavy bombers or your bombers, just like ground units or navy units. The air commander can give missions to intercept enemy aircraft, attack ground or navy units, or bombard fortifications and cities. Squadron commanders can also be made at the aerodome, and these units serve multiple purposes. They act kind of like an army commander, one with ground units, or the fleet commander for the navy units. The squadron commander moves around just like any other aircraft. It has to be in an aerodome, on an airbase, or on an aircraft carrier. You can rebase them at any point. The squadron commander, as I mentioned before, can build an airbase. So this creates an airfield where you can land and station 4 additional planes. This is very useful for moving planes closer to conflict without needing to build aerodomes. And this is a way that you can base aircraft around a town, since you can't actually build the aerodome in a town, but you can build an airbase next to a town. The next option from the commander allows you to deploy a nuke, and you need to have an available warhead in order to use this option. The process for creating a warhead is somewhat confusing, and it's kind of long. You need to complete the military legacy path in the modern era, and additionally, you have to complete the Manhattan Project. Once that's complete, you're able to build nukes, but you're also just one step away from a military victory. So it comes pretty late in the game. If you've unlocked aerial reconnaissance on your commander, you'll have an option to perform aerial reconnaissance, which will give you updated visuals on previously revealed hexes. 2 other commander actions require promotions as well. Airdrop and cargo drop are unlocked through the airdrop tree. Airdrop gives you the ability to load units into the squadron commander and move them in a single move up to 8 hexes away. Cargo drop allows you to heal units by dropping them supplies. Aircraft carriers can be built after you've unlocked mobilization. This gives you a moving airbase on the water that you can use to move planes around and launch attacks from. The aircraft carrier works just like a commander and gives you the commands to increase the various attacks for planes and drop nukes should you have those to use. One thing to know about planes is they're not in the unit turn line. This means if you're cycling through the units to take action with those that you haven't moved yet, the planes will never show up. You have to manually find and move your planes for each turn. Last to call out, there are a couple unique planes. The Japanese have the Zero, which replaces the fighter, and Prussians have the Stuka, which replaces the dive bomber. What questions do you have about planes that I didn't answer? Drop them down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you.